Hey Philip, how are you?
Nice, man. How you doing?
Doing good. How are you? How was your day so far?
It's pretty average day, actually. How are you doing? How's your day?
Oh, my day was wonderful. Thank you. Good to have you, Philip. So,
Thank you so much for this interview.
my pleasure, Philip. And Philip, last July 2022, you put up your first full-length album, Cantos Fúnebres. So, would you like to tell me a bit about the songwriting and production that goes behind this album?
Yeah, I mean, we released the album on 2022, but it was recorded on 2019. So it had a lot of time in between the recording and the release of the album.
Mhm.
In terms of the composition of the album deals a lot lyrically and musically with death. That's why it's called Cantos Fúnebres, which means funeral dirges. And it has that pretty dark vibe, but also having a little bit of hope, if you want to call it,
Mhm.
in a way. At least in my head, that's the sound that it has, like deathbed being reborn again, being like crossing into a new life, something like that.
Fantastic. Fantastic. And I believe that is the concept that you put behind this album.
Yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, it's on the album, and also it's related a lot to the whole project. I mean, these concepts of death, of also love, of emotion are involved in the whole project. It's more than just the album. I mean, this album especially had a lot of that, but it's the concepts that revolve around the band.
Fantastic, fantastic. And talking about the album, seven amazing songs, beautifully written, great musicianship, amazing vocals, and totally a fantastic album from you guys. So I totally love this each and every song from this album. So I want to thank you guys so much for putting up this amazing album. And as a band, how do you guys feel about the outcome?
Uh, First, thank you very much for your kind words. And in terms of the outcome, I mean, we as a group of people, as musicians, we were very fulfilled with reaching that level of musicianship, of composition, of being able to record in a big studio here in Santiago, one of the best studios in actually in the whole country in Chile. Uh, we were we had the chance to record with a great American producer, Jack Endino, who did an amazing job capturing the sound of the band. So it was like everything that I wanted, like to be able to like every the conditions to record were everything that I dreamt of. So in those terms, we are completely as I said, like we fulfill the dream of doing the things the way we wanted to. And that's one thing, and one of the most important parts of of doing music. But in the other hand, we have like uh spreading the word, putting the album out there. And that's nowadays to the standards of how things are done today as independent artists. It's really tough, man. It's really tough to put an album out there and to reach an audience, and especially if you are trying to create something that it's not uh formula. It's difficult to be played on or put on a playlist in Spotify, or I don't know, if you don't have I know that people don't tend to listen nowadays radio format, but if you want to put an album, or I mean a song in the radio, and if you have a song longer than 4 minutes, it's not gonna happen. It's pretty difficult. And I mean, I don't care about those things. I do what I want to do in terms of what I feel when I'm doing a song, when I'm composing a song, but it's tough. It's really tough.
Gotcha. And you're also working on your third album, I think, Back to the Studio. So how this work is coming up, and do you see some kind of progression on the works that you're doing?
Yeah, I mean, we have been working now for some time in this third album, and it has a little bit of a continuation of the previous work, because some of the songs were left out of this last album, but there's a lot of new stuff also, and it has been so much time since we recorded the last album, and nowadays it's like 5 years, I think. And so it has been like a really long time, and in those same terms we have matured and have opened our brains into different ways of perceiving a song, of composing, exploring new territories in terms of emotions, of sounds. So I think it's gonna be like kind of in the same ballpark, but it definitely has a twist, something different. And actually, I mean, we have, as I said, I mean, it has been so much time. We have the third and a fourth album composed already, but we want to stick to releasing first, like in this third album, all the more older songs, and in the fourth album I changed a lot of the style of the songs, the length of the songs, exploring like new ways of rediscovering yourself, so yeah.
Fantastic. And any plans to come up with a single from this album before the release of the album?
It has been discussed in the band to just go and record 1 or 2 singles and release them. But I don't know. I mean, my way of doing things, I prefer to just go into the studio and record the whole thing in just a couple of days, as we did on the first 2 releases, and that's my way. But I don't know. I would have to have first like something recorded, and then decide how are we gonna release it.
Gotcha. Fantastic. And any touring plans that is planned for 2024 or probably by end of the year?
So far, no. So far, we don't have a plan of touring. We have been taking dates like here in Chile. But the thing in Chile, it's not moving in the way that we would like to. Especially in here, at least that's my view on it. In Santiago, like the places that I used to go when I was younger, they're so hard to feel now with people. It's like I mean, it was prior to the pandemic, but also the pandemic had a big part on that. People, I don't know, they feel too scared or got used to staying home. It's at least here in Chile, it's in that way. We would love to go to Argentina, to Peru, to Bolivia, Brazil, which are our neighbors here in the region, but we would love to go overseas, anywhere, actually, because I think actually that we will have a better chance of meeting fans outside of our country, because here it's tough. It's really tough, the music scene here.
Gotcha. Gotcha. And I know that you are currently doing everything by yourself, being an independent artist, but do you have plans to sign a deal with any recording label in the coming future?
I mean, if there's a deal and it's good enough for the both parts, I don't have a problem. At least it's always in that way. Because I have read about artists signing even nowadays, because this had happened like always in the history of music recording. But nowadays, guys having really bad experiences with major labels. I read one a time ago, and as I said, as long as it's beneficial for both parts, and it helped us to reach new audiences, I think that we definitely would go in that way.
Fantastic, fantastic. And since the beginning, you have now 2 albums and you're working on a third and fourth album. So how has this journey with Odio Sensible has been so far?
I mean, it has been it's like having a child. I don't have child of my own, and I don't want to. But it's like having a kid, you know. You just watch it be born, and then you see how years pass, and you see how this evolves and changes, and goes into directions that you were not expecting to go. And I think, at least for me as an artist, that's the way that it should be, in my eyes, you know. Doing music, like, don't put like barriers, like limits of what you should do, you know. There's not something that you should. It's what you feel, because in the end, it's art, and art, it's emotions. So I think that everything is valid, and I'm pretty sure that whatever the art form that one is doing, I'm pretty sure that there's people that relate to those feelings, you know. So I don't know if I answer your what you asked, but that's what I think about Odio Sensible.
Fantastic. And talking about songwriting, do you have a kind of topic or certain enclosure where you want the lyrics to go along only into certain topics, or it's going to be diverse in the future?
No, as I said, I don't limit myself. I the process for me when I'm creating music, it's first I go with the music, and it always has been, once I have like the whole thing created, and we recorded with the guys a demo, and we have the whole instrumental part figured out, then it's when I start putting the lyrics. And it doesn't necessarily I have something in mind. Sometimes I don't have anything in mind, and I just have a title, and sometimes even the title changes because the lyrics go to other place, and it doesn't have like a direct connection. Sometimes that's why the title changes, but it's related with emotions, with narrating a story that connects with what I feel. You know, it's always I think that it's always about feelings. It's always about it tends to be more related to the obscure stuff, but it's always about emotions, you know.
Gotcha, gotcha. And Felipe, what would be the big dream as a band?
our big dream, it will be to be able to tour in South America, in all over the world actually, and to make money doing this, because today it's really tough for the bands to make money in music, because if you want to make it, I think that there's a good chance that you need the support of a big label to make your music known, to get into an audience, and to be able to play in big festivals all over the world. And you get a tour. And I think that's the way to make music nowadays, and to sell merch, because putting your music out there today doesn't have much value, because of the streaming services make the music free. So it's just a few amount of people that want to pay for music to have it in a physical format, and which I love, but it's not the majority of people that want to have something touchable, art that they can see how it was back in the day, So our dream would be like to really make money out of it, because we have invested our hearts, our energy, and our money into these projects, and so far we haven't seen any retribution in terms, at least in terms of money.
Fantastic. And any highlight moments for the band that you want to share with me today?
Any highlights? I don't know. Maybe as I said, recording with Jack and Endino in the Lautaro Studios here in Santiago, that was a big moment for us. Being able to record with someone who has recorded such iconic bands as Nirvana and Soundgarden, Mudhoney, Titãs in Brazil. It's something that not all the people has, not all musicians have the chance to meet someone with so much history, and knowing people who really became successful and made it in music. So that was a very big deal for us, being with him, being able to chat with him, and the whole experience. And also we were able to master the album with Chris Johnson from Deafheaven, who I met here in Santiago, and he's really nice guy, and we were able to master the album with him. And that's also amazing, because he's in a band that it's playing every big festival out there. So it's amazing to be connected with these people who made it in music.
Amazing. And Felipe, finally, any message that you have for the fans and for the people who are listening to Audio Sensible for the first time through this interview?
I would say that we're gonna try to make all that we can to go out there and play. So hopefully we could be someday in somebody's town, and so that we can meet and see that we are actually pretty down to earth guys, as everyone in the world. We just play music, and we try our best to do to put our art out there. And also, I mean, not just as talking about my project, but for everyone out there who has a dream, just keep doing. I mean, it doesn't matter if no one likes or encourage you to keep going. I mean, if you believe in your project, just go, man, just go. I mean, time will tell if it's good or not, or if it is successful or not, you know, but just trust yourself.
Fantastic, Felipe. And Felipe, I want to thank you so much for giving me today this wonderful opportunity to have you on this show. And thank you for all the awesomeness that you have given over the years. And thanks for the fantastic album. And looking forward for more great music from you guys. And I wish you all the best. And I'm hoping to see you again on another interview soon.
Oh, thank you so much, Keith, for the invite for this interview. I really appreciate for you taking the time and what you're doing, spreading the word out there for not just for us, but for all the bands.
Thank you, Felipe. And you have a good day ahead. Take care of yourself.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
See ya.
See ya. Bye.